come on.
I want some rest. Are we having fun yet?
All right. Really? Like, come on. All right. So I don't know if you guys seen this, but apparently the Golden State Warriors are interested in Kevin Durant. I thought this was a meme, but no, it actually is true nonetheless. Let's talk about it really quickly. How does this affect the Spurs? Because quite a few people are upset about it. Now, I'm going to talk about this in two different frames, okay? In one frame, I'm going to talk about me as a NBA fan, and on the other side, I'm going to talk about how, being a Spurs fan, how this affects my Spurs, right? So, first and foremost, when it comes to just being an overall NBA fan, this is awful. This is absolutely trash. I really hope this doesn't happen. I mean, we literally just had one of the best seasons imaginable, in which we didn't really have to worry about any super teams at all, really. Like, everybody was pretty even keel. Some teams obviously better than others, have a little bit talent more than others, but it was no one just absolutely dominating to the point that even Luka Doncic could take on the Phoenix Suns that had more talent. So I think that this was a great year for basketball. Now, with this being said, Kevin Durant, if he does this, all the things where people talk bad about him and call him a cupcake, I'm sorry, guys. He is a cupcake. He is sweeter than a cupcake. That would be absolutely awful. He will be softer than a cupcake. I really hope that this doesn't happen. So as an NBA fan, I am completely against this. Now, I will say this, okay? I will be honest. I think, and some people disagree with this, okay? But I think that the whole Kevin Durant situation, as far as a Spurs fan, I think that this helps us quite a bit. We can at least get in the mix of whatever is going to go down, because I'm assuming this is going to have to be some type of 3-team trade. And why not include the San Antonio Spurs that have a lot of cap space in which we can take on bad contracts to help another team get Kevin Durant. And with that being said, also, I know that the Spurs oftentimes are trying their best not to deal with Western Conference teams. For the most part, it seems like that's kind of the case with us. We do that pretty often. We try our best not to work with the Lakers of the world, and rightfully so. But at the same time, I think that this is one of those situations where we're going through a rebuild. We're not going to be good for a few years. If hypothetically Kevin Durant, if we helped out, and I didn't even look into like everything we could do to help out. I just know that if you're talking about a 3-team trade, we got some space for your bad guys, so you can give us some of those picks. But if something like this went down, okay, Kevin Durant goes anywhere in the Western Conference, I don't think that the Spurs need to really worry about it, because we're not going to be good for a few years at least. I know that we're far behind. Well, maybe not far, but we're pretty behind the ball when it comes to our division right now. I mean, we have a bunch of talent that's emerging, and when it comes to us, we took way too much time to even think about rebuilding, and that's just a product of being great for so long. It's kind of hard to just let go of that so quickly. You forgot what it took to even get to the point that we were at, and it took a absolute rebuild. So I understand that on the Spurs perspective, trying to take their time with that. But when it comes to this, I don't think this hurts us that much. How much more time will Kevin Durant be playing? Look, he already lost a step. If he does go to a really good team in the West, we're not really in the conversation anyway. It's going to suck as an NBA fan, but I think as the Spurs are concerned, I think it could help us, him coming back to the West or whatnot. It could help us. And a lot of times with these teams that do create super teams, they're not really super teams for long. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to the way that you draft, who's your ingrown talent. Because let's just be honest, if you think of any super team, they don't last super long. It just doesn't work that way. It always starts in the draft. Whether we're talking about the Chicago Bulls, which, yeah, they eventually kind of became somewhat of a super team. But if you're talking about the Bulls, if you're talking about the Lakers, if you're talking about the Spurs, it always comes down to ingrown talent. Shoot, even the Golden State Warriors, KD there or not, they're still going to win a championship. I think this is very interesting, though, because Kevin Durant, I felt as if he wanted to get away from that narrative of joining the Golden State Warriors and how they were the reason he won. And I mean, even Draymond Green basically calling him a B word and saying they could win without him, which they eventually did. I'm sorry, there's no backbone if he goes back there. I do not like that at all. And I'm sure he has a big say so on where he goes. But yeah, this whole situation is just messy. It's ugly. It's stupid. It's dumb. But when it comes to the San Antonio Spurs, I don't think it affects us that much. Like if another team gets better with Kevin Durant, what does it matter to us right now? Like we're not really concerned with getting better in the here and now, but we could definitely take some picks and build that bad boy up. So we'll just wait and see what happens. But I would be kind of shocked if we're not involved in some way, if this doesn't affect us at all. We're a team that I'm pretty sure Brian Wright, as much hate that he gets, which I think is really unwarranted. He did a lot for this franchise. But as much hate as he gets, I'm pretty sure he's on the phone like crazy. And by the way, just like I know I'm a little tangential, but just really quickly, Brian Wright, okay? A lot of people talk bad about Brian Wright, like he's trash, he's garbage, he doesn't know what he's doing. But I mean, just some things right off the top of my brain that he's done that I thought was incredible. The fact that you signed Bryn Forbes, which everyone was shocked by, on a 1-year contract. He's a rental, and you got 2 second-round picks from him. You traded Thad Young, and then you got a first-round pick for him, which is incredible because we weren't even utilizing him. And then the whole thing with DeJounte Murray, you got way more than what you typically get in a situation like that. A pick swap, 2 unprotected, that usually doesn't happen, okay? Unprotected picks are very hard to come by. I mean, you need a big name like Rudy Gobert. That was a crazy trade to get those unprotected picks. So all I'm trying to say is I think the Spurs are in a really good position right now, but as an NBA fan, this is ugly. So I'll give it to you guys later. Let me know what you think in the comments. Until next time, man, deuces.